It is On Air with Dr. Pete, and we have another special episode today with the one and only Leigh Castelli, a producer.
Hi.
And she loves being on the camera, as you maybe know from the other time that we did this. We had one other episode like this.
One other episode like this.
We need to do more of it.
You know how much I love this.
She does not like this at all. She likes to be behind the scenes.
Correct.
To the point where she couldn't even get her computer to work to log on, actually.
What else is new? What else is new?
So
I don't have a fancy studio like Dr. Pete, so we wing it here. We just wing it.
Meanwhile, your background looks way better than mine does. So don't call anything fancy. Look at that. You can't even see you're in the way of California. Thank goodness. New Jersey. Oh, there it is. But that's their life in that household. Jersey, yes. Illinois, and California. But anyway.
Correct. Yes.
So 2026, what do you think?
I just can't believe that a new year has already begun.
But you and I were talking about just putting the decorations away as quickly as possible.
I actually could not wait to do it. I could not wait to do it. I love having Christmas, Hanukkah up when it's up. Yeah. But as soon as the holidays are over, I'm like, I need that clutter gone. Like the cards that line my walls, I adore it for the 4 or 5 weeks that I get it, but then I have to get rid of it. Like, I feel like the walls are closing in on me. So I couldn't wait to put it back.
Well, and I think there's a lot of listeners that are going to relate to that, because that's why I was like, I feel the same way.
I just like to start my new year that way. I know some people leave the tree up until New Year's Eve. For me, I just like to have it all clean and put away and a fresh start to the new year every year. It's the way it should be.
It's the way it should be, at least in the Castelli household.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a thing called the Dia de Tres Reyes, which is in Puerto Rico, the Day of Three Kings. And that's January 6th. And so in a lot of the Hispanic culture, actually all the stuff stays up until January 6th.
Yes.
Yes. How would you feel about
I actually learned that on Christmas Eve when I went to church with my mother-in-law, and they did say Christmas extends. And
yes,
in my mind, Christmas is over, Hanukkah is over. We are on to 2026.
2026.
I had to put it away. But to me, it's all about the fresh start. And I really like to feel organized and clutter-free, even though my whole life I've been very cluttered. A part of my brain is very cluttered. But at least if my surroundings are uncluttered, then I feel better.
That's same. Your environment helps because our brain is cluttered.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I just feel better. And I'm just ready to start the new year with you.
Is this our first episode for 2026?
This is our first episode for 2026. Yes. Yes. We have other guests that we've recorded that we are going to be airing very soon. I can't wait to air. We've got some really great guests coming up for January.
So let's talk about that. So and I did like a recap of 2025, which you know nothing about yet because you haven't listened to it yet.
I haven't heard it. I'm sure it's great.
Well, who knows?
It was a busy year. It was a really busy year, and it was really fun for the podcast. We had so many great guests, so I'm excited to hear what you talked about. But I think a 2025 wrap up, like we did a lot. We accomplished a lot this year.
We did, and thanks to you. Now, I just had a thought, which I don't think I know you're not going to answer this because I also asked you who your favorite guest was on Oprah. Do you think you could say the favorite guest you had in 2025 on Air with Dr. Pete? You're probably not supposed to answer that, but like,
I'm not supposed to answer that because I'm the producer, so I'm friends with everybody. I mean, I loved them all. I feel like we really just topic.
Because we had some really heavy topics.
We had heavy topics. We did. We had heavy topics, and I think it's really important to share a lot of those. Obviously, like I love Nikki Boyer, and I loved that show because of the personal connection that we had with her and Dying for Sex. But I also really loved the Scream Club. I think just like getting that anger and emotion out is so important. I feel like we had some really great guests with some really special stories. So it would be hard to pinpoint.
It is hard to pinpoint.
I like giving a wide variety. I like mixing it up. I know you do too, and talking to a lot of different people and covering a lot of different topics. I feel like our goal for the show has always been, you know, to offer practical, helpful advice. And I do feel like we accomplished that with a lot of the guests that we had featured on the show last year.
Do you think I should be preparing more before the episodes?
I mean, I think already know what I'm going to say to this, but I also just know that we are working on a very limited timeline with you. Like you are busy.
Let's say I wasn't. What would your answer really be?
I believe that you should be more prepared. I know when we talk about topics and we're like, oh, we really should book this or we're interested in this, we talk about these things and then I go
Yeah,
after it and I make it happen. But
you
sure, I
do.
would love for you to at least dive in a little bit more. But we all know that that's really hard with your schedule. So,
Well, but
you
here's the
know,
other piece of it. Maybe, and this is important, and maybe listeners can give some feedback too. But
hmm
like,
hmm
so part of why I do that is I like to improv a bit more, and I think if I'm too prepared, which I think it becomes too scripted. So how do I,
yes.
as a producer with all
Yes.
your expertise, how do I find balance in that?
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important to understand where your guests are coming from and what their story is and what they want to share. But then being able to keep it very improv style and
Yeah,
go kind of, with the flow, that's what makes you so great at this. And that's why people really enjoy your show because you are very conversational. And
yeah,
so it is important not to be too scripty. When I give you like topics or things to discuss, it's stuff that you and I have already spoken about, but then
yeah.
you're ready to go in a conversational
Well,
manner. And I think that that's special.
remember the first like set of scripts that you gave me versus what they look like now.
And they're still longer compared to what you want. But,
So
sometimes
wait, let me.
you do need a little bit of,
The
backstory
the
or
first scripts were like scripts, like movie scripts. It was like
again,
it was
again.
it was all written out
We're going to
like
go back to my television days because
exactly.
we were writing scripts for very
Yes,
long, 30, 60-minute
I
full on
know.
episodes. So
Yes,
I feel like a lot of my writing style is to give you a more elaborate,
I know.
background and show ideas and show topics. And that's kind of, where I come from. But yes,
Yeah,
having to shorten it for you. Obviously, this podcast is shorter. It's,
yeah,
20, 25, 30 minutes.
yeah.
So and I know also that you get overwhelmed when you see a lot of
Too
text or
much.
copy coming in. So I keep my text messages brief to you. I keep my voicemail messages brief to you because your time is precious like the rest of ours.
No,
And
it's not about that. It's about I actually talked about this in the last recently with Mike. Um, just
uh-huh,
about like efficiency.
yeah,
Or maybe that's on 2025. I don't know. One of the recent
yes.
episodes just about being efficient. So it's less about like my time is not valuable actually. No one's time is valuable because actually that is the one thing that is equal in life. No matter how rich or poor you are, time knows no boundaries. Time is what time is. So
Yes, and I agree with efficiency and how we use our time and how we spend
correct.
our time and
That's
how we
it.
choose to spend our time and
Exactly.
just people choosing to spend the time with us listening to these episodes like that
Yes.
is a choice that we're making and we fit it in whether we're on a walk or a treadmill or in the car
Yeah.
or whatever it is. But yes, for you like you are spread thin because you do have a lot of other, hats that you wear.
Yeah.
So we try to be mindful of that and
You
and make it work
you
within
are.
your timeline but also, I think it's okay to, meet the guest face to face for the first time and like really dive in because that's what
Yeah.
makes it very authentic to you and to the guests that we're featuring.
Well, thank you for all that you do for that because I think we
I
did
love it.
really have a really great lineup. And so 20 like looking ahead for this year, we'll keep that, right? We want variety, we want diversity, we want all
Of
that. Like,
course.
yeah.
Of
What else do
course.
you think about? Like what other
Well, I
goals do you
think that
have?
we're starting a new year fresh. So for me, it is always kind of what I was saying with just the decor, like taking down, decluttering our life. So to me, starting off the year, I don't so much as believe in New Year's resolutions because we all know like we can
They
make the
don't work.
resolution. It doesn't always necessarily work or
Yeah.
last. So for me, it's all about just starting this year fresh. Like what can we do different this year that we didn't do last year? Like what can we switch up to make things a little bit more efficient or make it better?
Yeah.
For our listeners and for you and for me and for the
Yeah.
guests that we're welcoming on the show. We want
Yeah.
it to be a really positive experience. And I feel like in all the feedback that we've received, both from the listeners, in the emails that come through every
Yeah.
day and from our guests, they do feel like it is a good use of time. But I really want to kind of get into that decluttering, how to start the year fresh, how to start the year, organized and
Yep.
efficient. I think
Yep.
a lot of it comes down to, just having different people on that share different perspectives. So I know we have a really great guest coming on in January who's going to talk all about decluttering and
Yep.
how to really organize your life in all areas, not just in your home in the physical sense, but how can you organize your life so that you feel less cluttered and less chaotic? I think it's just, different topics. I know we want to talk a lot about Zen and your
Yes.
practice.
Are we
And
cool with that? I did mention that in the 2025.
I think it's great. And I think we've heard from our listeners that they're really interested in that from you because that is such a unique part of your background.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because mindfulness and meditation is so important to you, I think it's really great to be able to share that. And if we
Yeah.
can give that to our listeners in a
Yeah.
way that they can take and work on their own time, I think
Yeah.
that would be great. It's something maybe they weren't considering trying before, and maybe you can open a whole new world for them. So I really believe that bringing in some Zen would be great
So
and
should we
some
do that Like the last Friday of every month or something like
I
that,
think it
you
would be
think?
great. I think we should start it with once a month, and let's listen to our listeners. I think that they always come up with really great ideas, and
Yeah.
they share their feedback with us, which I
Yeah.
really appreciate. So we'll hear from everybody if it's working, but I think why not? I mean, it's 2026, it's a new year. It's a
Yeah.
great way to jump right into something
So,
different.
yeah, because I mean, that was like, so sometimes my Zen teacher struggles. He doesn't understand what a podcast is. So actually what I had to do was like transcribe him a couple episodes of When East Meets
Yeah.
West,
Right.
where I did a couple of the Zen teachings on there. And so now that we're just like all in on this, I was looking for other Zen sort of meditation podcasts. And, people started during COVID, but then none of them are
Mm-hmm.
ongoing,
Mm-hmm.
and none of them are still kind of doing it. And I thought, and that's one of the things that my teachers always talk to me about, is that I'm young
Mm-hmm.
compared to when I started studying with
Mm-hmm.
him. I was 29. And so I was super
Crazy.
young. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was going into this like
Yeah.
Jersey City Zendo. Everyone had white hair there except for me. It was like, so now I'm still the youngest almost, which is, so almost 20 years later, I'm still one of the youngest. And so that's his whole thing, is like kind of seeing me as like the future of carrying at least his Dharma, because having studied with him for so long, like there's a lot that I've learned from him. And that's why that's the goal. And so while I have a meditation center almost,
Yes.
I
Yes.
think the podcast is just a way. One of the things I talked about in the recap of last year is like a
Mm-hmm.
collective healing. I
Mm-hmm.
think you've done a really good job of that without maybe identifying that as a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that this has become like a collective healing space.
I think so too. And I think again, when you brought it up last time we spoke, you said like, this can't all be fun for you. Honestly, for me, it is, because I do feel like we're making a difference. And if I didn't feel that, and if I didn't have that
Yeah,
satisfaction from this, I don't know that I would commit as much time to it. So I do feel like it is a collective healing. And
yeah,
I think just kind of continuing that into the new year. Obviously, we've heard from guests that have provided that and how
yeah,
they've healed and different trauma and things that they've been through. But I think for you to share your wisdom in a way that maybe our listeners haven't heard before could be
right,
something really different and
yeah,
unique to you. And it's authentic to you because it's something that you share and you want to share with us. And I know I can certainly use some of it. So I will practice, and I will take all of your
yeah.
tips for us. But I think that would be really great.
Yeah, because everyone knows Zen. I'm even thinking about that as you're talking, like, and they probably think it's like, I don't think IKEA's, no, not IKEA's around, like Pier 1, like,
Hmm.
some just like statue somewhere, and it's cute.
Yes.
Like everybody has like everyone has or seen a statue somewhere,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
but
And
there's,
different like
yeah,
diffusers or calming oils or
yes,
things like that. And
yes,
for sure, you can log on to YouTube and listen. You could do
yeah,
yoga, you could do all those kinds of things. But
yeah,
to maybe have some mindfulness, like meditation or Zen
yeah,
practices, within the podcast, I think it's great. And I think it's something always worth trying. You
yeah.
never know if something is going to stick or what people really identify with. So
Well,
I'm all aboard.
be careful, because I have run an injury recovery group for almost 3.5 years, and we maybe get one person a month to show up, just for the athletes. So
Wow.
I commit.
Yes. And, I am very loyal and I commit too. So I feel like everything is worth trying. And if it
Yes.
doesn't work, or if we hear, oh, this doesn't work for us, or we don't like it in the podcast,
Yeah.
we always pivot and we
We'll
make
pivot.
adjustments as necessary. And that is, why we work so well together, is because we
Yeah.
are able to make those adjustments. So we try it and we see what sticks. And if it doesn't stick, then we move on, and that's okay too. But I think starting the year fresh and bringing in something different and unique to the podcast and for you would be, a great
Super
natural
cool.
next step for us. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just really looking forward to another great year. I feel like this has been really just a fun, challenge for me professionally. And I've met some really great people, some that I still stay in touch with. And,
That's cool.
I'm just really excited for the shows that we have coming up. I think the grandma stand is just like such a
It was
great,
cool. Yeah.
cool idea. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to share that, and, the
I
neat
didn't talk
method and
about
everything.
nanny. I thought about it for a minute, but I wasn't sure if that was appropriate, so I decided not to. And just for everyone, that's Lee's
Yes.
grandmother that I
Yes, that is
knew very
Nanny is
well.
mine, and
Yeah.
Chicky is yours.
Yes.
I can't wait to share the episode about the grandma stand for everybody listening. But,
totally.
I'm just really looking for, some different fun things. And really, I'm all about the good news right now. And that's kind of like where I'm feeling, because I do feel like 2025 was heavy for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And so to me, I really, it's important that we just kind of bring some lightness and some good news to this. And so I am always looking, I want a variety. Yes, I want to hear, trauma and how people have overcome, but I also want to hear some of the good news that we can share and spread, because we're surrounded by negativity a lot. And I feel like it's really important. Even when I talk to my own teenagers, like I want you to zone it out and tune it out.
Teenagers. That's your problem.
When you're a mom of 2 teenagers, it's kind of hard not to, but I'm constantly telling them, like, you have to just tune out the negativity.
Yes, and when you listen to the 2025 recap for all of our listeners, you'll see that it's like a lot of this, it's none of it's new. So even when life feels heavy, life has always felt heavy, in a certain point, right? And
Absolutely.
That's perspective. And so learning how to kind of gauge your perspective on things, it's not to minimize what it feels like in the moment. It's just to say this too shall pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that every day is a new day and every year is a new year. And,
yes.
At the beginning of every year, I feel like, okay, we could take this on, we can do this. Yes, there are challenges in every year and it's something new. And I feel like life is constantly evolving in that way, in the same way that our friendship has evolved after all of these years. So I feel like this is just marriages evolve, work partnerships evolve. So there's challenges in every day. And I just feel like what I love about this podcast is really trying to bring in just like that good news and those little glimmers of hope and light and shine, because that is important.
It is there. Will you make it to midnight on New Year's Eve? Well, we're going to record it. We're going to air after that, but
that's okay.
Big party.
You know why I never do? Because we watched the New York ball drop here. So when we first moved here, we were confused. We were like, do we tune in at 10? Do we watch it at 12?
Yeah.
No, we will for sure be asleep at 9:01 after the ball drops. I'll call Melissa, my mom, and my dad and say Happy New Year to everybody who's not sleeping on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then, I'll have my glass of champagne and I'll go to bed.
Oh my God.
What about you? Are you any big plans for the new year?
None. We'll often just do like a dinner or something, but I don't know. It's very, very quiet. This whole holiday season was quiet, which in some ways I'm okay with. In a lot of ways I'm not okay with. So that's just the beauty of,
again, that's that balance.
There's that balance. There it is.
I've definitely taken a good amount of time off. I'm ready to like hit the ground running and get back to work and just, start the new year fresh. And I'm ready for 2026 and all that it brings.
What a great way to end this episode. So there we are. So our producer's ready. I don't know if I am, but
You're
ready.
Always ready. You always show up for the challenge. I'm never worried about you. As long as we have our check-ins, I can always check in on you and, see how you're doing.
I love our check-ins.
Yes, so do I. And I just adore you. And I love the show and all the opportunity that it's brought our way.
I love you, and thanks for all the work that you do. As you all know, listeners, thanks for tuning in. Everything's at Official Dr. Pete, so you can like, follow, and share. Please do that this year. Maybe do that
and send us your ideas, please. We read them. We listen. We read them.
She does.
We want to hear from you, for sure.
We want to hear from you. But until then, in 2026, spread a little kindness and stay well.
Love you.